So I'm here with Alex Adams, Head of Sales and Marketing at Aqualand. Mate, cheers for taking the time to catch up and share a bit about what's going on.
Thanks for coming in.
And so I know you guys have got a big commitment to North Sydney. You've got a big project here. We're at the display suite right now for Aura. Do you want to talk a bit about why North Sydney and your relationship with the council and how that's all kind of playing out?
Aura is one of many projects we own in North Sydney. We've got a huge vested interest in North Sydney and a huge passion for North Sydney. That stems from our managing director, and that's flowed down all the way through to everyone within the company as well. And they understand what our interest is in North Sydney, and we believe in what council's put forward and what they're going to produce in terms of that $14 billion investment into the revitalisation of the entire CBD, pretty much, to turn it into Australia's best micro-city, in the words of the Mayor. So we genuinely believe in that. We want to be a huge contributor to that. And yeah, Aura is one of those projects. We wanted to start off with a bang, if you want to call it that, to build an iconic building, and it's our next iconic building after Blue at Lavender Bay. But Aura is truly in the heart of North Sydney, on the perimeter of the CBD.
One of the things we love about brand new apartments is, unlike developments that were completed 40 or 50 years ago, where they were thinking about what the consumer needed at that time.
Yeah.
You know, consumer preferences and what people really want has changed a lot. And so how are you thinking about incorporating what the needs are and the future needs are for people that are going to be living at Aura?
Yep. Technology has advanced so much in the last 5 years, and it's only going to continue to advance at a faster pace. We've taken that into account from day one with Aura. We've provisioned a number of our car spaces in the building for EV charging. There's quite a number of our buyers that have electric vehicles already and have asked that question, so they're quite happy with what we've provided. We have 3 Teslas that are going to be available for all residents in the building as well, so that can be booked through the concierge or the residents app.
That's pretty cool. So all the residents have access to be able to borrow the car?
Yep, it belongs to the residents.
Cool.
So that's actually a fantastic thing. It's something that we've locked in quite recently as well, and I'm actually quite excited to have clients use that. That'll be really, really exciting.
I reckon that's cool when you've got kind of the combination of the public transport, where if you want to go into the city or wherever you want to go, you can kind of go there via the train. But the reality is sometimes you want to get out of the city and go for a drive. So that's pretty cool that you can, you know, have both and not actually have to own a car if you don't want to.
Exactly right. We obtained our development application on Aura quite early, so we've got an abundance of car spaces in the building. Parking is quite often overlooked by councils as something that's quite important. We think it's extremely important. So having the car spaces, in addition to having the ability to hire one of those Tesla cars that are in the building just through the app or through the concierge, is a huge benefit to some of the apartments that don't have car spaces in our building.
So one of the things I understand about Aqualand is actually you guys, after the construction's completed, you're not like, see you later, the residents. No. You actually stay involved in the project. Can you talk to us a bit about, you know, what's the role of Aqualand moving forward post-completion?
Yep. Well, post-completion, so one thing I'll talk about is the service. So we've got a client relationship team that will literally be there and is still liaising with customers that we've sold apartments to at Linfield Village, for example, in 2015 and 16.
Wow.
We're in constant communication there. Our clients still benefit from being in what we call the AQ Club. It's our client loyalty program, and it's not just benefits such as discounts on future purchases and so on, but they're coming to the Archibald at the Art Gallery of New South Wales. They're coming to Rabbitohs games, to the corporate boxes. Any events that we're putting on through our sponsorships, they've got the benefit of attending those as well. In addition to all that, we do retain ownership of the retail spaces within our developments as well.
So this is across the road at Aura?
So across the road, all the retail that you see on the ground floor and the upper ground floor. So that's all being retained by Aqualand. We set up a hospitality group called Edimon Project, who have actually been quite successful in the short time they've been around, with numerous venues that have received hats.
That's the sort of thing we want to see, is where developers are kind of staying on board. They've got a commitment to the area, obviously like a commercial commitment as well from a hospo perspective. We think that's really 100%. Positive.
And we consider that part of the amenity as well. So it would have been very easy for us to do what most do. So they build the building, and as per council requirements, you've got to build the retail on the ground floor, and it's usually empty for a number of years after the building's complete, and then you get some random retailers entering that building. So we didn't want that. We want to build a legacy for our brand. And we're very conscious that our next project, wherever that may be, it may be Barangaroo, it may be another project prior to that, will leverage off the success of Aura, the same way Aura's leveraged off the success of Blue. So again, Blue's a perfect example of how we've done it down there. So we obviously built the building, and it's a great building, but on the ground floor we had the retail component. We've opened up Lulu, which is a French boulangerie and traiteur down there, and it's extremely successful. So if you haven't gone down, it's worth going down.
What's the address, just for people that want to go check it out? Because I think that's the best way to look at this thing, where a lot of developers talk about it, but it's like if you can actually go down and see an example of where Aqualand's retained the retail and see the quality of that, I think buyers should be doing that stuff.
61 Lavender Street, Nelson's Point.
Go check it out.
But it's extremely successful. And you go down on the weekend and it's become a bit of a hype thing. There's people queued around the corner to try and get a coffee and croissants, and they go to the park, they take photos and they post it online. The restaurant portion has received a hat already, which is fantastic, and they've only been operating for about a year and a half. And the same group has also opened up a restaurant in King Street in the city called The Charles, and a bar downstairs that's called Tiva. And most recently, only last week, we've opened up our 4th venue in North Sydney in a non-Aqualand building in 1 Denison Street, and that's called Poetica.
Very cool.
Yeah, well on the way to building up a big portfolio of venues, but Aura is going to be our largest precinct. So we're very conscious that it's not only for the residents, but it's also the local community, and establishing Aura as a precinct and then just dragging in people from all around to experience what we consider to be the Aqualand flavour of living.
One of the things that we kind of really like about Aqualand, and why we're so proud to be partnered with you guys, is that I think when you retain the retail space, you're integrating your own hospitality kind of assets. You're also doing the building. When those things kind of all get combined and the developers really integrated like that, it puts a bit more skin in the game in terms of those projects. And I think that comes through with the residential projects and the experience for not only the residents, but also the people that live in the area.
Yeah.
I think it's really important.
Definitely. So for us, it's all about adding value to and improving the lives of all our residents as much as we possibly can. So we don't want to impede and step on their livelihood, but if we can do anything in addition to what we're currently doing to improve their lives and make things easier and more convenient, then we'll do that. So, adding the restaurants and the cafes, and I'll talk about a couple of the venues that we're opening at Aura. So there's going to be an all-day LA-inspired diner. There's a high-end Japanese restaurant. There's going to be a wine bar, and there's going to be a providor as well. So that's all going to occur on the ground floor and the upper ground floor of Aura. They'll be open by the time we actually settle our first apartment. So that's the other important thing we're committed to as well.
Very good. Well, hey, it's awesome for you to share a bit of insight about Aqualand and the journey you guys are on. We think more developers should be doing more of what you guys are doing, so it's awesome to see, and we appreciate the partnership.
Thank you very much.